It's Monday. It's Mark Myers. I was walking. And it's the longest running daily show on planet Earth. 1,428 days in a row. Getting together, living in the moment, and just trying to get you away from the negativity. So give me a follow, head over to YouTube, subscribe, and see if you could join us on all of the crazy shenanigans that we've been working through for the last 4.5 years. We're almost at 5 years in a row live. I can't believe that. But I have a story for you guys tonight. It's not going to be a very long show. And we will get a woohoo from Zabrowsk, so don't go anywhere. But can you believe that 50% of people making north of $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck? And now that's not meaning well north of 100, but people around 100. And it's 50%. And then as a total for the nation, we're at 61% of the people are out there living paycheck to paycheck. Some people can't even heat their homes this winter. And I'll tell you, the last oil bill was insane. Oil bills are out of control right now. And I don't know how we're dealing with it. But I wanted to talk about that quickly. I wanted to see how you guys feel about it. Obviously, it's nothing that anybody should be ashamed about because this is a world that's just getting increasingly more difficult to live through and survive in. But I want to just say I hope that you guys are doing well and getting through it in your own way. We do have to do that, get through it in our own way. We can't be forced in any direction. We're all so unique. And when there's all of these different perspectives out there, it's very hard to see what's right for you. Remember, your heart will always tell you what's right. And follow your intuition. We need to start doing that. And if you've been doing it, I'm proud of you. Continue to follow your intuition because that is the one thing that will always be true. And it's frightening. You know, I'm a realtor. This is what I do to make a living. And when I know the market is shifting because people are having a harder time out there nationally, even though I'm in a hyper-local business, real estate's hyper-local. It's not like, Connecticut's doing great. Well, it depends on where you're looking in any town on how it's doing. There are parts of towns that are doing well and other parts that are just kind of kicking along. So in general, you have to look at it hyper-locally, but still, it's frightening because everybody's affected by what's going on out there. And I'm hoping that we could find a way to get through it together. I think that the intention out there has been to try to keep us apart. And when we're going through what's about to happen, we need to come together. And so let's at least do that here for a few minutes every day. Give me a follow. Share. Guys, you could also subscribe on TikTok now, which is kind of a cool thing. If you want to support the one guy who's been live for 1,428 days in a row, you can do that. Sarah, how you doing? I see Trish. I see Pamela. Zabrowski, I see you, buddy. Can I get a woohoo? Zabrowski, I'm going to look this way this time. Zabrowsk, that was a good one. I was looking the other way. I was thinking that maybe you were just going to run out the door and not give us a woohoo. But we got the woohoo. And guys, I'm going to pull up the story real quick. I want to just read it because I didn't find. I want to see why, people making that much money are not able to be, sitting and doing well. It depends, I would say, on where you're living in the country. The part of the country I live in, taxes are insane. Property taxes, just the cost of living. It's, go out to dinner. Everything is just very much inflated. So let's see. I'm going to pop this on the screen. If you guys are not on YouTube, you can head over and watch this and see the story as well unfold on the screen. Guys, I'll bring you through. Let's just do the old window capture. Joanne, can you do the window capture for me? Joanne, wake up. I'm doing the show. You'd figure during a woohoo from Zabrowsk, you'd at least be awake and ready to go. Me, I couldn't tell. She's wheezing all the time, Anyway, here we go. Let's get this open here, Joanne. 61% of Americans. That's a frighteningly high number. Okay. Oh, there, Joanne, thank you for putting me on the screen to read it along with everybody. So, 61% of Americans, more than half of those making 100K plus, are living paycheck to paycheck, a new report finds. The Lending Club report found 33.5 million Americans spent more than they earned in the past 6 months. A report released this week by the San Francisco-based financial services company Lending Club shows 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The total includes 203 million Americans, which is an increase from 55% a year ago. In April 2021, the report found 52% of Americans lived paycheck to paycheck. We're not really seeing consumers slow down their spending habits despite their higher cost of living, said Lending Club millennial money expert Aaliyah Didim. Nailed it. The report found 33.5 million Americans spent more than they earned in the past 6 months. It also found biggest rise in paycheck-to-paycheck consumers was in consumers earning between $100,000 and $150,000, up 11 percentage points from May. You know, Joanne, did you have to pick a story with all the different stats? Nobody really wants to know all the stats. Dadum explained how someone making a six-figure salary could be living paycheck to paycheck. Thank you, Dadum. You know, Dadum. I just want to know it, you know, and you're just doing a freaking Mark Tobin. Oh, you guys haven't seen Back to the Future, Mark. YouTube, it's got a 2,900 pieces of content. We're up to 2,900. Anyway, guys, as you grow into having more financial obligations, you have your children, education, bills just add up, and it becomes increasingly harder to manage that spending. Said Townsend Asset Management financial advisor Gerald Townsend offered his 2 cents worth on how high-paying jobs aren't always the answer. In certain circumstances, Townsend said, he's seen mismanagement of money. We strive for higher income, and that's all good, but higher expenses come along with it. Sometimes more family stress comes along with it, and sometimes that is tough to navigate. Townsend is in his 40th year helping families in Raleigh manage their money and plan their financial future. One of the toughest things to do financially is to live below your means, Townsend said. It's tough. Townsend advises families to live below their means. Plan carefully, be patient, take those plodding steps forward, and it will pass. As frightening as it seems, it will pass. Townsend acknowledged the cost of gas and groceries is up compared to the previous year. An inflation gauge closely tracked by the Federal Reserve jumped 6.8% in June from a year ago, the government said. It marks the biggest such jump in 4 decades. The first step towards longevity and survival is your paycheck to paycheck, your survival mode, Townsend said. 2 of the easiest ways Townsend suggested to put aside more money to not be month to month, essentially, is to find ways to increase your income. Maybe ask for a raise or get a side gig. Number 2 would be cut expenses where you can. Examples include eliminating a streaming service, don't take a dream vacation, or optimize utility usage. We earn it. We're going to spend it, Townsend said. We're just geared that way. We have to fight the urge. That's very, very good advice from Dadum and Townsend. I have to thank them both personally. I may have to give them a call later. Joanne, can you give me the number for Townsend? Joanne, stop wheezing. Anyway, guys, that's it for the story, at least. That's what's going on out there in the world. It's tough times for everybody, and I feel for everybody because I haven't seen a depression like this in the marketplace since, I guess I would say, when I got my real estate license. Right at the beginning of 2008 and end of 2007. I'm sorry. 2007 going into 2008. And I walked into my office the first time. And this guy, Anthony, goes, "What are you doing? We're all leaving." And I was like, I'm going to learn this business while it's bad. And when it gets good, I'm going to be rocking. I'm going to understand how to get the best deal done for my clients. I'm going to understand how to be the best agent possible by the time that market comes. And I didn't see a good market. For 13 years, all I did was hustle. So when I actually saw that good market for the first time, but I couldn't be a part of that good market because I couldn't get out of, here behind in a basement, at home because of the freaking fear mongering. And I lost the ability to simultaneously, when there was this market that was exploding, I wasn't able to tap into it because I couldn't network. I'm someone who needs to be in the room with someone and meet people and then say, hey, what I do is sell real estate. And if you ever need assistance, make sure you reach out to me. Whether you're in this state, New York, or anywhere else in the country, I can help. And it's a simple thing, but people need to meet you first. And I think that's one of the things that's been difficult, is not being able to get out there and meet people. So, this is one of those times in history where flipping the script and going out back into the jungle, so to speak, and starting back from scratch and doing the things that you used to do, knocking on doors, so to speak. Part of the new show, The Daily Grind, is I'm calling on expireds again on a daily basis. I used to do that every day when I was like a new agent. And I pulled a bunch of listings. And at a certain point, business was flowing in, the pandemic happened, and I don't know what, I wasn't calling on expireds as much. But one of the things that I love doing is calling people cold. Getting them on the line and having a conversation. Sometimes it turns into a really great conversation. And sometimes they smash the freaking face. You know what I mean? They take out a sledgehammer. Don't freaking call me. You're the 900th agent that's called. Like stuff like that. And I want to get that all. I'm going to film it all. And you'll film my reactions, because like sometimes you have to, backpedal and you have to say, and then you have that moment where you see me on camera. I'm like, man, I got smashed in the friggin' face. And I just like, it takes a couple seconds. Then I just freaking shake it off. I say, okay, make another call. And that is what needs to happen in order for you to drive forward, is you got to be willing to take pitfall after pitfall and get up and freaking climb out of that hole and keep going to the next one. And eventually someone's going to open a door and say, come on in and take some photos and put this thing on the market. And that's basically what real estate's about in general anyway. Is, I was talking about, I think if you had a chance to see the first episode of The Daily Grind, I was just mentioning that you do your best for these people, and sometimes you build a good relationship with them, and you hope that there's some sort of loyalty. And so as someone from the outside calling in cold, there is that light concern that they may have a relationship with these people, and they're like, no, I'm going to sell with that person. We're going to just get a deal. And that's happened with a few people with me that are just like, we're sticking with you until the end of time. And I love those people, but most people aren't like that. Most people will cut your throat and they'll give the listing to another agent. I call it agent roulette. They literally just throw another agent into the freaking gun and see if it's successful and if they get their guy. And the thing that bothers me the most about agent roulette is I worked so hard for each and every client. And I did everything. I created in my area drone technology. It didn't exist. They had drones, but no one was using it for real estate. It was 2013, and I went out there and I said, I'm spending I can't even say the number. It was crazy. Nobody had them yet. And I had a $5 million listing, $5.5 million listing. And the guy goes, I want aerial photographies from a helicopter, and I want it of this property because that's going to sell the property. It was this great property. It really was. And he had it done from a previous listing agent that didn't sell it. And he goes, I want that. You got to get that if you want the listing. And I said, fine, I'll get a helicopter guy to come out and shoot that, to get your listing, $5.5 million listing. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll sell this listing. I'll pay myself back. for whatever, how much is it? $100, $200, you know? So I go and look, there's a guy who was always putting these flyers on the table. Hey, I go out in a helicopter once a month with my freaking telephoto lens, and I'm zooming in and taking photos of your property, and I'll sell them over 3 weeks later. I'm like, wait, hold on. So you're once a month you go out, and then I have to wait 3 weeks for my photos? This property may be sold, you know? I don't know what? So then I start thinking to myself, I think there's like drones, you know? And I look at it and I start doing the research and I'm like, I think I'm going to freaking buy one of those and I'm going to start shooting my properties. So my concept was this. I'm going to spend lots of money on this piece of technology that no one's thought of using yet. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to offer it to every single client free of charge. Hey, you list me with me. I'm going to bring my drone. I'm going to shoot your property and we're going to go out there and we're going to sell this place because I'm doing something that's unique and outside the box. There is no freaking box, by the way. And we take this concept and I decide to just amplify it and say multiple times I'm shooting the drone. Whenever there's a beautiful sunset, I'm going out there, I'm shooting another one because I want to consistently change the photos. That lead photo I'm consistently changing because that is going to affect the algorithm and get us more views and get more eyes on my clients' properties. And so I'm bringing this new idea into the marketplace. The agents are pissed. I'm this freaking young guy who's there wearing a freaking suit. And it's just, okay, 2003 says 9 years ago and 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. And I'm walking in with a drone. And my best stories are I go in to get listings and I bring in a big freaking stack of paperwork because I did my research before I went in. I knew the market. I knew the paperwork. I knew what we could offer. I knew what I could do different. And I sit down with them. I'm like, okay, so we've got this big stack of paperwork and I'm ready to go through it. You want to go through? I'm ready to go. And I got my drone. Do you want to go through this? Do you want to fly the drone? And I would literally present it like that. And they'd be like, every time they'd be like, let's go fly the drone. There's a property that is ridiculous. And I did the same thing. And I met this entire group and I brought the drone out and they had a stack. I had my manager with me and I brought the drone out. My manager's standing next to me. We're both in our suits. I'm freaking flying my drone. And my client says, do you think positivity and being passionate about a property sells? I said, absolutely. So that's how I live. I said, for me, if I can't share what's amazing about the properties I represent, then I can't sell a property. I'm not selling anything. I'm offering what they need. This is an amazing property. It has everything. And I am excited about it because it would be amazing to live here. You know, did you see that upstairs? You know, so I think you have to love what you sell. And you're just offering an experience to people. And so being a realtor is one of the things in my life, have discovered I do best. And, this showing up here for 5 years in a row, almost every day, and just bringing some other enjoyment and entertainment to the world is just my way of just hopefully bringing some people together. But the reality is I drive towards what I'm good at, and being a realtor is what I'm good at. So if you are out there and you're looking for somebody who's going to be, focused and is going to create some sort of uniqueness within the process for you, shoot me a DM, give me a follow, share. We do this every day, by the way. And the Daily Grind is a new show. We have lots of stuff. Get to Know America, American Renovation. All of these things take place because they're unique facets of being a realtor, of living in a world like this today, especially going into this new market. It's going to be interesting to see going back into a tougher market. Just, that's to me, that's actually interesting to film from that angle. Like, yeah, it's so great to see people selling properties and to me, it's kind of interesting to see the struggle of it. Of trying to move property in a tougher market and hearing the conversations. And I realize what I'm gonna have to do is just bleep people's names and stuff like that. When going forward, I'll just bleep their names out and cut their names out when they say it and stuff like that. Because I don't think I should go around and just say, "Hey guys, you're on camera, you're on being filmed right now. I'm recording this conversation." No, I mean, this is a freaking show, and whatever happens in my day is recorded, and I just drop it in, and that's it. And maybe perhaps I should go back to people and say, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to be using at least our conversations. You're not on camera or anything like that." But that would also then just people I think would be on guard and not be themselves. To me, I think that's worse. People have to be themselves when I get them on the line. And so that's why these conversations have to happen live and in the moment. So I don't know what comes next for the daily grind, but I'm going to be shooting more tomorrow. It's supposed to, I think, rain pretty bad on Wednesday, so I'm not sure how much is going to get done over the next couple of days. But this is my plan, was to do a show like each weekend on that. Every Sunday I'll drop a new episode of that. And it's just 20 to 30 minutes of the life of a real estate agent, the inside and outside of it, transactions. I do have Wednesday's supposed to, maybe I actually should film a ton on Wednesday because it's supposed to be like 30, 40 mile an hour winds. I have 3 properties closing on Wednesday, and they've been all over the place to close for like a while. And then all of a sudden now they're closing on the same day. It's nuts. And it winds up being the one day it's supposed to be like 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. Todd, how are you, my brother? Bradley, Pamela, Kill It and Grill It, Wharton. So good to see you guys. And over here on TikTok, I appreciate you guys. Dan, anybody else that may be out there, thank you for watching and hopefully following. Remember, this is the longest running show on earth. This is quite insane. And I think like I have this kind of over this thought in my mind. I'm probably going to stop doing the show at 1,500 days. I just think that's a good day to stop doing the show. Like at least, doing something that's not this daily thing. Like I think this is insane. Like it's not building the way it should for a show that goes every day. Like it should be building to a point where we have like a crowd that's just like pumped that there's a place every day they can go to get a show that's unique and live and in the moment. And so I think it would be a thing that at 1,500 days, at least had proven that I can do something that no other human has done before. At least long form, go for 1,500 days in a row. And then, some other shift and some stuff may take place and we just drop some content from time to time and go live, but we'll figure it all out and take it in stride. I just think, this is the real estate thing is definitely like it is like, I have to just continue to do that. And I love doing it. And I think that, that has to be what is the representation. You know what I mean? And I have to remind people. I remember there was the one thing I remember. I used to go into offices with this suit on as this 28-year-old, 30-year-old kid, a 32-year-old kid. And I would go and sit down with them. And the one thing I was proving to them each time is that I'm a freaking hustler. And I'm gonna work my tail off for them. And the reality is nothing about that has ever changed. But if somebody who's looking for a hustler and someone who's going to go out there and dominate for them says, you know what, let me Google search this guy. And they see me as like Super Mark or like dressed up as Hammerlin Jameson. Like, are they going to want to give me their listing? And that's the thing I just kind of started to look in the mirror and say, I don't think so. And they should say that's pretty freaking hilarious. But people have a hard time splitting apart, the personalities. Like, okay, that there's something that could be done at 10 o'clock at night. And then there's this all-day dominance that you're there focused, killing it for your clients. I've always done that for 15 years, 14 or 15 years. And that's the thing. I think that still doing what I do is okay. Absolutely. But there's got to be this focus that like, oh, geez, yeah, Mark's a realtor. I remember Mark, he's a realtor. And that's the thing that may have been lost in translation a little over the last 4.5 years. I mean, alive every day. Anybody on the outside would say, there's something extremely crazy going on there, like really, really explosive. And I think there is, what we do here is pretty explosive. But the reality is I can go out there and create content that is focused on my business, and do news stories still. But I go out there and I focus my content mostly on my business and what I'm doing in real estate. And this is the weird thing, because that may be the thing people can gravitate towards. My friend Alan said once, you got to pick one thing. You got to be the real estate expert. You could be the comedian. You could be the musician. You could be the entertainer. And I said, no, that's why I wanted to do it all and just say, look, you guys will be like, what is it going to be tonight? And that's the excitement. Is the draw is not, it's going to be about finance. No, it's going to be the moment taking place. And that to me is the draw. I don't know what's going to happen. And so he said, no, that's actually a really good concept. But I think he also said you're either 20 years ahead of your time or 20 years behind. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, we're just in a world right now where people are like 5 seconds and they're just on to the next. And he goes, and you're a content that develops, because you're going from this to a piece of music and writing a song, and then you're doing some sort of green screen comedy, and then sitting down again and going into the news, and it's just everything, and most people don't have that ability to do that. So anyway, listen, that is the reality, is we need to continue to do the things that will bring us through this crazy time that we're living in. So until tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can open up the screen at least so I can say goodnight to who's here with us. Uh-oh. I don't need that audio in the background. Bradley, Chris, Kill It and Grill It, Jacqueline, Pamela, Raven, my friend, Renee, I see S-Coop, Stacy Michaels, Texas Lady, Trish, and Virginia. You guys rock. I appreciate you. Remember, tomorrow I will be back with, I don't know what, maybe a piece of music. I'm not really sure what. But make sure you guys keep smiling. Until tomorrow. It's Mark Byers. See you tomorrow, family and friends. Love you. You got to go away, yeah, yeah. Have a good night, fam. You got to go away.